There's an invisible thread that runs through every act of giving and every act of receiving. A thread we can't see, but we feel it. When we give freely, from love, from integrity, from alignment, something opens. And when we receive with openness, without guilt or grasping, something strengthens. This thread is the flow of wealth karma, a cycle as old as breath. What we release returns, what we hold with grace expands, and what we hoard with fear often slips through our fingers. Wealth as a living relationship. We've been taught to think of wealth in terms of accumulation. Stack enough. Save enough. Own enough. But this is only one dimension of wealth. True prosperity moves. It breathes. It circulates. And the more consciously we participate in that movement, the more we realize, money is not just a resource, it's a relationship. It reflects not only what we do, but how we do it. The energy behind giving. Giving isn't just about generosity, it's about intention. We can give out of guilt, out of a need to be liked, out of performative virtue, or we can give from overflow. From a place of deep knowing that what we share, when aligned with the right timing and purpose, always plants something powerful in the field. Not because we expect a return, but because we trust the field itself. Wealth acquired through control or exploitation may stay for a while, but it stagnates. It carries weight. It costs more to hold than it gives. But wealth earned with clarity and care tends to flow. It's light. Clean. It expands both the giver and the receiver. The sacred act of receiving. Receiving is often more confronting than giving. We are often far more comfortable offering than allowing. We downplay compliments. We feel uneasy accepting gifts. We feel guilty earning too much or having more than others. But receiving is not greedy, it's essential. It's the other half of the energetic loop. Without it, giving becomes unsustainable, and the flow collapses. To receive fully is an act of courage. It requires a sense of worthiness. It challenges belief that we must struggle to deserve. And it calls us to soften into trust, into allowing life to support us, not just through effort, but through flow. Every financial exchange is a vote. Wealth karma also shows up in how we circulate money. Every time we spend, we're not just buying a product, we're casting a vote. A vote for values. A vote for systems. A vote for what we want to see more of in the world. This doesn't mean we must obsess over every purchase, but it does invite presence. It invites us to ask, does this exchange reflect who I am? And when the answer is yes, spending becomes an act of alignment, not depletion. Money spent with clarity leaves no residue. Money spent with resentment or disconnection, however, often does. Beyond logic, the mystical pattern of return. The karmic field of wealth is not linear, it's cyclical. You may give in one place and receive in another. The moment you try to track it with strict logic, it slips through your fingers. But if you trust it, if you listen, you'll start to feel the pattern. The more attuned your giving and receiving becomes, the more your financial life feels like a conversation with the universe, not a struggle against it. And that conversation becomes more fluid the moment you stop chasing and start tending. You'll notice unexpected support. Opportunities arising from nowhere. Referrals, ideas, clients, collaborations, all rippling back to you, not as a reward, but as resonance. Healing the past to clear the flow. Wealth karma also invites us to look at our past. What were we taught about giving? About asking? Were we shamed for needing help? Were we praised for sacrificing ourselves? These early scripts don't just influence our emotional patterns, they shape our financial reality. Healing them is not just therapeutic, it's strategic. Because until we feel safe receiving without guilt, and giving without depletion, our wealth will always feel conditional, vulnerable, unsteady. Not because of our income, but because of our energy. Daily alignment, micro decisions with macro impact. One of the most powerful practices is to pause before every financial exchange and ask, am I moving from love or fear? From truth or ego? From alignment or avoidance? This single question begins to shift everything. You may find yourself declining opportunities that drain you. You may stop overgiving in hopes of being liked. You may finally raise your prices, or drop the hustle altogether and enter a new rhythm. Over time, these micro decisions rewire your relationship with money. You stop chasing abundance, and start embodying it. Releasing the shame around having. The more you heal your wealth karma, the more you realize how much shame you've been carrying, not only around debt or struggle, but around having. The fear that having more makes you selfish. That you will lose love. That someone else will go without. But wealth is not a pie to divide, it's a field to expand. When you thrive in alignment, you naturally open pathways for others. You lead by frequency, not force. This is how real wealth teaches. Quietly. Powerfully. Energetically. A different kind of portfolio. The best investors in life aren't just those who master the markets. They're those who master the flow. Who know when to give, when to rest, when to say no. Who aren't afraid of being visible, abundant, or misunderstood. Your wealth isn't just what you earn, it's how you move. How you honor your timing. How you hold boundaries. How you direct your money like a current of meaning, not just a tool of survival. This builds a different kind of portfolio. Not just of assets, but of peace. Of integrity. Of resonance. The return that can't be tracked. As you begin to live in alignment with wealth karma, you may notice less urgency and more clarity. Less guilt and more gratitude. Less control and more receiving. You'll stop keeping score. Because the return isn't always visible on a spreadsheet. Sometimes, it's in the relationship that appears, the opportunity that finds you, the sense of rightness in your body as you say yes or no from your center. You won't need to ask, what do I get in return? Because you'll feel it. Not as a transaction, but as a transmission. Final thoughts, be the flow. Wealth karma is not about perfection, it's about participation. Being in relationship with money as a living force, not a lifeless number. Trusting that when you give with clarity, and receive with grace, you become part of something larger than accumulation. You become a vessel. A current. A steward. So ask yourself today, not just what am I earning? But what am I circulating? What am I welcoming? What am I aligning with? Because in the end, wealth doesn't make you powerful. It reveals the power you already carry, once you step into the flow. Thank you for being here. If this message resonates, consider it an act of energetic giving to pass it forward. Because wealth karma always remembers where it came from, and where it's going next.